Hi everybody, hope you're well. This video is requested by Willowbrook. In this video I'm going to be talking yet again about Equestrian Centre Prestige. So we're going to be talking about the second thing. And the second thing is Meadows. So with Meadows, there's two things that you need to be bearing in mind. You need to ensure you have enough meadow for grazing for how many boxes you have. So if you have 80 boxes, then you have to have at least 80 acres available to your boarders at all times. If you have 2 boxes, then you need to have 2 acres available at all times. If you have 2,000 boxes, then you're going to need to have 2,000 acres of good meadow available to your horses at all times. Now, I have 100 boxes, which means I need 100 meadows. 100 acres of meadows, not 100 meadows. So 100 acres. So that is 1 acre per box. And the second thing is to ensure your meadows are available for grazing and are fertile enough. So, as you can see, my prestige in this is much better than my Equestrian Centre Cretin, which we talked about in the last video. So we will go to my meadows and we'll have a quick look here. So you can see how many meadows right now are available as pasture for my boarders. And you can see that that's 100 acres. So I'm just going to quickly show you what happens if I take one of those off. So we've got a couple of meadows here for pasture. So we'll remove this one and we'll put it to fallow. So fallow, and you can see this suddenly becomes red. You're missing 25 acres of meadows set to pasture to have boarded horses in your Equestrian Centre. Your Equestrian Centre Prestige will be lowered. So if I left it like that, as you can see, it's in red, so it's saying warning, something's wrong here. You want to put that back up. So what I would want to do is put 25 meadows back in to pasture. So I'm just going to quickly click on all my pastured meadows just so you can see this a little bit more clearly. So you can see that I have 4 25 acre meadows, which adds up to 100 acres. And I have 100 boxes, so you can see that works out. So you can see the number of boxes you have, and you can see how many acres you have available. So it's very handy. I'm going to switch these around because this is the other thing, the fertility of your EC meadows. So you can see right now that those ones that I put into fallow were quite low. They're about 95. So I want to make sure that the meadows that the horses are grazing on is 100. So it's best to rotate them every day. As you can see, I've been a bit lazy and I haven't been rotating them every day. But if you want to make sure that your EC Meadows rating is really high, you got to make sure that there's enough pasture there for your boarders and that the fertility is good. So basically, it's very important when you're getting meadows that you make sure that you have enough meadows to rotate. So you're going to have meadows there that you can rotate for crops. You're going to have meadows there that you can rotate for pasture, because depending on the season, the fertility will increase, either faster or slower, depending on what season it is. Now, if you don't know about that, go into the EC help part of the game help, okay? And you can have a look in there. So we'll just quickly go in here for the sake of this. So let me see where the meadow bit is. So there we go. So I'm trying to find the bit that I'm looking for. Where is it? Okay, so here it is. So the fertility of the meadow increases 1 for each day that it lies in fallow in spring or autumn, 3% in summer, and 0.2 in winter. So you need to make sure that in certain months you might need to have more meadows available. So you might over time want to build up a huge amount of meadows, which is why I have such a huge amount, because it means in those months whenever the fertility increases a lot slower, such in winter or maybe even in spring and autumn, that I have a lot of meadows there to rotate. So it doesn't matter if you have a lot of 5 acre meadows. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of 10 acre meadows or a lot of 25 acre meadows. I just choose to have 25 acre because I like to be able to have all of them for growing crops if I wanted to. So that is why that's so useful really for me. But it's not, you don't have to, it doesn't have any difference whether you use 5 or 10 or 25. It doesn't affect it. I mean, if all of these were 5 acre meadows, for example, or they were all 10, let's just say they were all 10 acre meadows, okay? If I had lots of 10 acre meadows, then I would need to make sure that I had 10 of those 10 acre meadows in pasture, so that I would have 100 acres worth rather than 4 of 25 acre. So it's kind of about managing this and having enough there that will do you. So that is kind of how you can increase your Equestrian Centre's prestige with meadows. And you can buy meadows from the EC shop or from the Meadows page, which is very handy as well. And hold on, if we can see in here. I wanted to buy a new workshop. I didn't want to buy a new workshop, so ignore that. You can create greenhouses in your workshop, but you can't create meadows, so you have to buy meadows. But the one thing I would say, now this doesn't affect the equestrian overall prestige directly, but if you wanted to have greenhouses to grow your crops on instead of meadows, you could do that. And maybe you just want to keep your meadows for horse pasture and so forth. You could do that if you wanted, but you have to buy meadows directly. You can't get them from your workshop. So thank you to Willowbrook for requesting the video, and hope you had a lovely day. Bye guys.